Hello, good morning and welcome to the Air News with me, Mapisa Sibiri. Now, first story, Municipal Chief Executive of the Keta Municipal Assembly, Emmanuel Gemega, says government and other benevolent organizations must urgently come to the aid of residents in the municipality after high waves swept homes away. Now, the high waves, which occurred in the early hours of Sunday, has rendered about 3,000 residents homeless. We'll hear from him shortly. First, let's listen to the affected residents.
We are homeless and our daily activities are affected by the waves. We are hoping that help comes through you, the DC.
Let's hear from the MCE, Emmanuel Gemega, who's appealing for immediate support after touring the area.
That has entered their rooms, their homes, and they have been dislodged. So, schools, this has affected about 3 electoral areas along the coast within the municipality. And it's a very, very serious situation that we have experienced over here. Though we know it's a perennial situation, but this year's one, it has delayed, so we're not even expecting it to happen again. But just to see this happening this morning is very devastating, and we can only call for help, an emergency help from anybody, from the government, and then from individual philanthropists, NGOs, when you are seeing us, because the people have been dislodged, their rooms, their kitchen, their economic activities have been disrupted. Therefore, it's very, very important that we come to their aid as early as possible. All farms have been swept away, and for now, everybody is perplexed.
The Ghana Health Service say the country may easily erode the gains made in the fight against COVID-19 if citizens fail to adhere to safety protocols. Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Sedi Beku, wants Ghanaians to strictly follow the protocols to halt the surge in numbers. He was speaking at the inauguration of the high dependency unit for COVID-19 patients at St. Dominic Hospital in the Eastern region. Correspondent Kofi Siao reports.
The creation of the High Dependency Unit for COVID-19 is part of the Commonwealth Development Support for 40 districts through the COVID-19 Response and Institutional Capacity Building Project. The program, funded by the Foreign Commonwealth Office, seeks to support the government of Ghana's response to COVID-19. It will also strengthen Ghana's health system to maintain the delivery of essential healthcare services and mobilize all available resources for COVID-19 response action. Currently, the project is undertaken within Christian Health Association's hospital in 40 districts across 15 out of the 16 regions. Addressing a gathering to commission and hand over the facility to the hospital, the British High Commissioner Harriet Thompson says there is a need to attach all seriousness in the fight against COVID-19 after over 5 million people succumbed to the deadly virus globally.
Other UK bilateral support to Ghana for COVID-19 includes specialist expertise such as seconding a UK emergency medical team case management specialist to WHO in Ghana, support to epidemiological modelling of the pandemic, and detecting COVID-19 variants and oxygen concentrators for COVID-19 treatment. Over 5.4 million people have been provided with information to minimise COVID-19 infection risk. Globally, we have pledged up to £1.3 billion of UK aid towards global actions to contain the pandemic.
The administrator of the St. Dominic's Hospital, Reverend Father Ebenezer Aban, commended the United Kingdom for contributing tremendously in supporting quality healthcare delivery in the country.
Team, I wish to extend our profound gratitude to the leadership of CHAG for the selection of St. Dominic Hospital as a participant of the CREEP initiative.
The Director of Public Health of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Sedi Beku, encouraged Ghanaians to get vaccinated to help curb the spread of the virus after expressing worry of a surge in COVID-19 cases.
As I speak now, we have more than 10 million vaccines. The government's or the president's promise was that we want to vaccinate 20 million Ghanaians. There was a point in time that we had a challenge about access to vaccines, but now we have a lot of vaccines. There's also another challenge: people taking the vaccines. So that's a challenge. But luckily, I hear through the help of Omahini, Nana, and others, Akotia has very low hesitancy. But we need a vaccine to be sure that we are safe from COVID.
Kofi Sian reporting from Akotia in the Eastern region.
President Otumfuo is asking the Public Utility and Regulatory Commission (PRC) to wean itself from the perception that is only interested in reviewing utility tariffs. According to him, the Commission should step up its other functions, especially in protecting the interest of consumers, to ensure they enjoy quality service. The President's charge comes as he saw in the governing board of the PRC at a ceremony at the Jubilee House.
One of the most notable functions as seen by most Ghanaians to be effectively discharged by the PURC has to do with the review of utility tariffs, almost invariably in an upward manner. It would appear that the other functions, primarily to do with the protection of the interests of the consumer and the delivery of quality services by utility providers, have been largely overlooked by the PURC. This perception can no longer be allowed to fester. It must change. As the newly constituted board, and in accordance with Act 538, the Ghanaian people demand that you protect their interests. In consonance with Section 13 of the Act, I urge you to ensure that where a public utility provider fails to meet any required standard of performance, it is appropriately and duly sanctioned.
Meanwhile, bulk power producing company Gridco is optimistic its completed projects will resolve the inefficiencies within the electricity supply chain as well as impact positively on the economy. System Operations Director at Gridco, Engineer Mark Barr, has been speaking on this at the Information Ministry's Meets the Press series.
Residents and businesses within Accra and Kumasi can look forward to an even more stable electricity supply. As power producing company Gridco says, it's completed works on some bulk supply stations. Systems Operation Director at Gridco, Engineer Mark Ewaba, says these changes will improve power supply, especially in these heavy power-dependent areas.
We had a transmission line from Abuazi all the way to Tema, but the demand is in Accra. So when the power goes to Tema, it then reverses back to Accra. What Pokwasi is doing is that it is bringing the power right to Accra. And when it does that, losses are reduced because you don't have to go to Tema and return. So that is the beauty of Pokwasi. And then secondly, the Pokwasi now is the biggest substation we have in Ghana. So to the extent that if we have challenges, even at Malam, ECG is able to supply Malam load from Pokwasi so that the people of Malam will not have to suffer. Kumasi, gone are the days when from 2 p.m., March, April, May, June, July, half of Kumasi will have to go down. Otherwise, the entire system will collapse. And it was consistent every day. That was a big issue. I mean, if you were living in Kumasi, the discomfort in the midst of heat. Following the completion of the entire stretch of the 330 kV circuit, that problem has been resolved. We don't have to take off Kumasi consistently. Kumasi is like the center of Ghana. So when Kumasi catches cold, Ghana coughs. So we have to make sure supply in Kumasi is well stabilized.
Additionally, Gridco announced the completion of a $200 million major transmission line from the southern sector to the northern. According to Engineer Ewaba, Gridco is working closely with other partners in the energy sector to make it more financially viable.
Things are better now in terms of cash flow, though we always want more, because indeed, when you are doing this business, you need a lot of money to ensure that tomorrow you can meet the customer's need, and you need more money to do that. So we are thankful that the cash waterfall mechanism is in place and is working, and we will work to improve upon it so that we'll be financially sustainable.
However, the bulk power producing company says the activities of encroachers and the transmission lines have proven a difficult problem to solve over the years. It has announced, therefore, a new partnership with national security to evict such persons.
Encroachers, that is a big challenge. You've seen or observed people practically living under our transmission lines. Some time back, we cleared from Adringano, East Legon, through to Fiesta Royale. You try to clear, and before you know it, it starts growing up again. But this is something we are still working on. Sometimes it borders on the security of our staff. So we are now working with national security to make sure that we nip this in the bud. This has to be resolved.
Michael Papani Ashali's report for Joy News.
Vice Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Patrick Yaw-Boama, says he's not expecting major tax increases in the 2022 budget. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is scheduled to appear before Parliament on 15 November to present the 2022 budget. But even before the presentation, there are calls on government to abandon any idea of introducing new taxes. Mr. Boama observes that the 2022 budget would reflect the aspirations of the Ghanaian people.
Last budget was an example that the government listens to the cry of the people. There were no major increases in taxes. You can attest to that. And I don't expect any major increases in taxes in the coming budget. What I can assure Ghanaians is that we are politicians. We listen to our reps, our constituents. We are their reps, our representatives in Parliament. And we have serious oversight over the executive and what they do. That is why we're able to water down a lot of things that comes to us. So we can assure them on our part, on our side, as Parliament and as the Finance Committee, that we'll be taking very good decisions on behalf of the good people of this country, taking into account the economic situation. So I can assure you that the Finance Committee will be up and doing, and I don't believe that government will also hang anything heavy on the necks of Ghanaians.
But from the grapevine, you are told that there is still a possibility of tax increases.
I don't know of any grapevine. Maybe you do, I don't. I don't anticipate any increments in those sectors. Otherwise, the Minister of Energy will be leading the discussion to prepare the minds of Ghanaians. I haven't heard the Minister of Energy speak on any tax increases or any levy increases in the energy sector. Neither have I heard any of his deputies canvassing that position. So maybe it's Mr. Chidako's own discussion that he's holding. I haven't followed his tweet, and I don't know what led to that tweet, but to the best of my knowledge, nothing of such is coming out. You see, if we want to discuss the issue about realistic tariffs, then people will have to suffer in this country. But government always finds a way to cushion the plight of the people. Especially, you recall that the Minister of Energy, through Cabinet, have decided to reduce some levies on petroleum. You recall. So that is being taken through the process, and the net effect will be felt by the ordinary Ghanaian consumer. That is a listening and working government, in my view, because you cannot have citizens that you are ruling who are always complaining about certain aspects of the economy. So you have to do your own evaluation and come out with proposals that will lessen the burden on Ghanaians. It's not as if Ghanaians are saying they cannot pay taxes or they don't want to pay taxes, but they want to look at how relaxed the tax regime is to enable them pay according to their earnings. That's what I believe Ghanaians are asking for.
And our last story, two brands of the multimedia group, Joy and Adom, have received the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, CIMG, National President Special Awards 2020. Now, the Ekosisi Sing show on Asempa FM has also been adjudged Radio Program of the Year, the second of such honors in just 3 years. There's more in this report.
Station starts by noting
what began as a single radio station in 1995 is today the nation's largest radio, television and online network in sub-Saharan Africa.
It further adds,
one of your key jingles Ghanaians have come to like is Radio Get Result, which has been used intricately to your advantage.
The citation goes on to list some of the many stories which have gotten results through the Joy platform,
including the visually impaired farmer in the Volta region whose plight was aired and as a result got accommodation. The story of an old woman suffering from leprosy in the Upper West region who got a home built for her by the Vice President following a Joy News report. Joy News campaign that raised 500,000 cities for people affected by floods in the northern region, as well as the station's Drive Safe campaign, which the CIMG says has been very impactful.
Head of programs at Joy FM, Adam Naite, promised the brand will continue to do more to impact lives.
We are humbled and we're grateful to everybody, our clients, our audiences, and our partners all over the world. We're grateful to everybody, and this only means that we need to continue to do more.
Host of Ekosi saying, Philip Osei-Bonsu, popularly known as Obi, also assured listeners the award will propel them to keep raising the bar.
To be honest, I'm very proud. I think this can only encourage us. Mekaise 2019, Bahaba Beji Radio Program of the Year, and 2021, so Yasin Beji 2 times in 3 years, which is quite huge. At the MIA.
Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Mary Chinwe-Hesse, who was a special guest of honor, urged companies to establish strong brands which will positively influence their clientele.
Brand management is so important. Whilst not playing anything down, that we make sure that Ghana thrives in a competitive environment, because things Ghanaians are known and loved and wanted, and then we push and we'll be okay. We are very modest as Ghanaians. We don't blow our own trumpet, but in this very competitive world, please, let's put Christian modesty aside and boast a little bit. That's all I'm asking for.
Congratulations once again to Multimedia Joy Brands.
That's how we end the AM News. For more news, you can log into myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapito CBD.